It's been quite a ball game. They get it in to Sims. Sims across the timeline. Throws up a three. No good, air ball. Walker has got it. Down court to Shepard. Over to Anderson. 6, 5, 4 to Delk. Laid it in. 24 points for Delk. 1 second. That's it. The Kentucky Wildcats win the 6th national championship for the school, the first for Rick Pitino, and they did it 76-67 over Syracuse.
They finished the year right where they started, #1 in all the land. To get there, they put aside personal goals and built the ultimate team. Untouchable Kentucky. Untouchable national champions. Sweet words for Kentucky fans.
What you guys have done is special, and it's really special, and I just want to, on a very personal note, because it is personal with me, this is my school. They gave me an education. They gave me an opportunity to make a good living for a long time, and without that athletic scholarship and that experience, it would never have happened. So coming back here 7 years ago, none of you were here. You don't know the disarray this program was in 7 years ago.
There was a time not so long ago when the University of Kentucky basketball program was in serious trouble. After a full slate of off-court distractions and a 13-19 record in 1989, the last thing on anybody's mind was a national championship.
I think that the University of Kentucky has absolutely traduced, defamed everything that a university is supposed to stand for. And I think it's a disgrace. I just want to say it loud and clear again and again and again. An absolute disgrace.
The Infractions Committee came down hard on Kentucky basketball. A 3-year probation, no postseason play for the next 2 years, no live television for the 1989-90 season. UK will be able to make only 3 scholarships available for each of the next 2 years. And the school must return money received from postseason play in 1988. But the NCAA said the verdict could have been worse had UK not cooperated.
The committee very seriously considered prohibiting the university from playing basketball at least next year, perhaps for the next 2 years.
Now the time has come to look ahead, rebuild Kentucky basketball. And the first order of business is still to hire a new coach.
Now we know what we're faced with. There's no timetable with it, although it's not going to be quick. You're coming off of a team that lost 19 basketball games last year. This thing isn't going to be turned around quickly, but it will be rebuilt.
In talking with others associated with him from both the professional and personal standpoint, from the standpoint of his family life, he is a man of integrity and a man of quality.
Those were the words that C.M. Newton used this morning to describe Kentucky's new head coach. The 36-year-old native New Yorker, accompanied to the news conference by his wife, Joanne. With energy and enthusiasm, Pitino has built a reputation of rebuilding winners. Now he faces a huge task at UK.
When people say we can't be competitive, let's prove them wrong. And that's what we're about to do. And it's been a tradition with me to say that we will win, and we will win right away. Whether that means in terms of the losses and the wins and show up in the columns, I'm not sure. I think the Kentucky people and all the supporters of Kentucky basketball, forgetting the score, will leave that arena and say that basketball team's a winner.
At Midnight Madness in the fall of '89, Cat fans got their first taste of the future.
We are going to give you every day, 7 days a week, every minute of the day, every ounce of preparation that we have in our bodies to bring Kentucky back where it belongs, back on that lawn.
It would be a long road, working with only 8 scholarship players and none of them standing taller than 6'7". Kentucky managed to put a tenacious team on the court during the 1989-90 season. But the Cats weren't out of the woods. Playing at Kansas early in the season, UK was drilled by 55. Kentucky was learning, though. Rick Pitino had installed a new style of play, one that featured intense defense and unheard-of three-point gunning, and the Wildcats responded. Pitino's Bombinos made Kentucky basketball fun again. The overachieving Cats finished the first season 14-14, and hopes were high for the future. With a freshman named Jamal Mashburn added to the lineup for the 1990-91 campaign, Kentucky went 22-6 and posted the best record in the Southeastern Conference. Probation prevented them from claiming the official title, but the team celebrated the accomplishment all the same.
I wanted it for you so badly that I drove you way beyond that Virginia basketball team. So it's for a reason, and now you're wearing those shirts because of that. We need to yes. SEC, 1, 2, 3. It'll be much worse next year.
Finally, probation was over and done. In 1991-92, Kentucky was eligible for postseason play, and the Wildcats made the most of the opportunity. Led by 4 inspirational seniors who became known as the Unforgettables, UK played with poise and passion, finishing with an SEC tournament championship. In the NCAA tournament, the Cats marched through the field to the East Regional Final, where they faced top-ranked Duke, the defending national champion. UK was a heavy underdog that day, but in one of the greatest games ever played, the Blue Devils got all they could handle from the never-say-die Wildcats. Only a miracle shot kept Kentucky out of the Final Four. That trip would have to wait another year. Kentucky was marvelous throughout 1993, losing only 3 games during the regular season, annihilating Tennessee by 61 points on the way to a second consecutive Southeastern Conference tournament title, and completely dominating the NCAA Southeast Regional field in an incredible display of firepower. But at the Final Four in New Orleans, Kentucky's weakness was exposed when Jamal Mashburn fouled out. Without him, UK's inside game wasn't powerful enough to stop Michigan's Fab Five in the overtime period. The Cats had come close to reaching the summit, but not all the pieces were in place yet. 2 more fine seasons followed in 94 and 95, with 2 more SEC tournament titles and memorable moments like Jeff Brasso's last-second tip-in to beat Arizona in the Maui Classic. Later that same season, Kentucky pulled out the Mardi Gras miracle. UK roared back from a 31-point second-half deficit to win at LSU in one of the greatest displays of determination the game has ever seen. But the 1994 squad, with Mashburn gone to the NBA, simply was not a national championship caliber team. Marquette proved that in the second round of the NCAA tournament. The 1995 team looked like it might have the right stuff, especially after a memorable overtime victory against Arkansas in the SEC tournament. But North Carolina tripped up the Wildcats on a down night in the NCAA regional final. The pain and disappointment did not subside quickly and were a constant reminder of what might have been. Those memories would propel the 1996 Kentucky Wildcats. They simply decided they were not going to fall short again. The team got an early start with a summer trip to Italy, and it was there that they decided they would have to forsake individual accomplishment in order to achieve a higher goal. Experts said Kentucky was so loaded, there was no way Coach Pitino could keep everybody happy, but the players didn't agree.
Coach told us in the beginning of the season that with this much talent, with this many players, that some of us would have to make some sacrifices.
You know, Kentucky's a place where if you can put together a great team and maybe come away with the national championship, you know, I mean, people will remember that forever, and you're going to be put in a position that'll last forever. And it's worth more than making millions of dollars in the NBA, or worth more than maybe being nationally famous or the college player of the year. It's worth more than any of that. So we have the greatest motivation to play together as a team that there is.
Armed with a preseason #1 ranking, Kentucky appeared to have a definite edge in numbers. going into the season opening game against Maryland. But Coach Rick Pitino knew there were some unanswered questions as UK arrived at the birthplace of basketball, Springfield, Massachusetts, for the Hall of Fame Tip-Off Classic. Roles were not defined, rotations were not set, and Pitino was concerned that Maryland's experienced starters would exploit the Wildcats' instability. For the first 10 minutes of the game, that's exactly what happened. The Terrapins quickly jumped out to a 10-point lead, and the Cats needed a lift. Mark Pope responded, and the Wildcats mounted a comeback. Pope pounded inside on the way to a career-high 26 points. And suddenly, the baskets were coming easy, and the three-point line opened up. The charging Cats took a 2-point lead into the locker room. Tony Delk emerged to singe the nets from long range at the start of the second half. And new Wildcats also got into the act as Kentucky built an 18-point lead on the way to victory. Kentucky had precious little time to prepare for its next opponent. The #1 ranked Wildcats traveled to Auburn Hills, Michigan in a preview of what would be an NCAA Final Four game as they met highly regarded UMass. Unlike Maryland, UMass had a proven big man to battle the Cats on the inside, and All-American center Marcus Camby would prove to be the deciding factor. Incredibly, the Cats clawed back from an early 19-point hole.
Now look at this thing get to the rack. He's explosive. Wayne Turner. Now they're single digits again. 8-point lead. Thrown away again. Back-to-back turnovers. 4-on-1. Gotta make the play. Calipari might want a 20 right here. Yes, sir. He better get something. The Cats are on fire.
Antoine Walker's pull-up jumper, seconds before halftime, knotted the score. And it looked like Kentucky had once again dodged a bullet. But UK came out helpless against Camby. The junior picked up where he left off, scoring inside and out, and finishing with 32 points.
Oh, he spun away from the double team. That's an all Rolls Royce. He's a PTPer, baby. He's awesome, baby. Mr. Camby.
Kentucky stayed within striking distance, but this time they could not catch up as UMass hit their free throws and dashed the Wildcat hopes 92-82.
Obviously, our interior defense was fairly weak as individuals. We could not stop a Marcus Camby, a Duncan, a Dampier, a Hamer one-on-one. What we learned to do is we relied on great trap downs, great rotations out of the traps to stop any low post player. And when we got the hang of it, got much better due to the weaknesses that we showed with defending Marcus Camby. So we turned a weakness into a strength because of what we learned by playing good competition.
Pitino's troops couldn't afford to hang their heads. That very Saturday, Bob Knight and Indiana awaited the 1-1 Wildcats for a nationally televised showdown in Indianapolis. The Hoosiers had started the season miserably, but as anyone can tell you, team records and current trends wither in the heat of this classic rivalry. Kentucky inserted a couple of new starters at tip-off, and the changes worked. Walter McCarty and Anthony Epps sparked the Wildcats to an early double-digit lead.
McCarty will chase it down, and he'll go under for a two-hand dunk.
No one expected Indiana to wave a white flag. Sharpshooter Brian Evans caught fire from a variety of angles, and the Wildcats' lead was soon whittled to a single point.
Back over to Evans for a three. It's a one-point game. Evans has got his 14th point, and Kentucky calls a timeout as the Cats had Indiana down by 13, but Indiana is on a 12-2 run.
In the nick of time, Antoine Walker and Walter McCarty asserted themselves down low. Walker's perfect 6-for-6 mark from the field kept the lead safe for Kentucky. The Wildcats surged out by 10 to start the second half as Walker continued his rampage, drawing fouls left and right and destroying the Indiana front line.
Down a two-shot foul, intentional foul.
Evans and the Hoosiers fought back yet again. This time, though, Derek Anderson hit back-to-back threes to put any hopes of a Hoosier upset to rest. Georgia Tech came a-calling at Rupp Arena, presenting a number of problems, not the least of which was freshman phenom Stephon Marbury. The usual packed house saw their Wildcats fall behind by 7 early. Marbury and forward Matt Harpering were scoring at will, and Pitino was not too happy with the players' lack of defensive effort. But it soon became clear that Georgia Tech had no answer for Kentucky's inside game, and the Cats came back by wrecking Tech on the backboard. When Jeff Shepard threw down one of his patented high-rising slams on the break, the crowd came to life.
There was no doubt where he was going with that one.
And a long-awaited Kentucky run seemed imminent. But Marbury's smooth jump shooting gave Georgia Tech the halftime lead. The teams battled early in the second half, and it looked like a nip-and-tuck affair that would go down to the final possession. Then Tony Delk stroked a three. Moments later, McCarty sailed over the Jackets' heads, and the Cats were off and running. The lead jumped to 13, then 17 over the next 6 minutes. The final frames were a Cat fan's paradise. Anderson's off the backboard assist to Walter McCarty sent Rupp into a frenzy.
Oh, off the glass to McCarty. Hello. What do you give? Hello. That's a 10. All right. That's an unselfish play. Anderson had an easy layup and could have just put it in there, threw it up on the glass, and McCarty was right there. Conley and that were not easily impressed.
Kentucky outscored Georgia Tech 35-11 over the final 13-plus minutes. And there was a new feeling in the after-game air. Pitino's squad had realized their twin strengths: creative unselfishness and crushing defense. Kentucky fans were expecting an early Christmas present when Louisville rolled into Rupp for the annual Dream Game. The Wildcats wanted to atone for their defeat at the hands of Denny Crum's team the year before. But this year's Cardinals were the sort of quick and athletic team that would cause big problems. Finally, Anthony Epps jump-started the Ragged Cats. But Louisville fought back. Led by Alvin Sims, the Paris native's dunking spree brought the Cards within a single basket and prompted a Kentucky timeout. When the game resumed, the Wildcats needed someone to rise to the occasion and break the game open for good. They turned to their main man, Tony Delk. TD was suddenly unstoppable, blazing the nets from inside and out. The Cardinal comeback was averted. The outcome was never in doubt in the second half. The Cats pounded Louisville on the boards and won going away. Revenge was sweet indeed. After the Louisville win, the coaching staff turned up the heat in practice. Pitino's Kentucky squads had always shown marked improvement over Christmas break, and this year's model would prove to be no exception. But Pitino had another mission as he prepared for the upcoming conference schedule. He wanted to use this time to bring the team closer together and have some fun. While in New York for the ECAC Holiday Festival, the team attended a holiday party where the players made some New Year's resolutions.
We're here in New York, Park Avenue with Alan Edwards. Alan, New Year's resolution.
So like I told the man who asked me yesterday in the locker room that hope that the team stay focused and keep the same goal in mind as far as winning the national championship.
Seems to be a focus of this basketball team. Ever-improving Nazir Mohammed. Starting to come on. Last week of practice, had a great week. Must be a New Year's resolution in your mind.
Somewhere New Year's resolution to play better than I've been playing. Also, go home with a national championship win.
We're in New York now, not too far from the Meadowlands.
I know, real close.
Ron Mercer, New Year's resolution. I know we haven't given you much time to think about it.
Okay, my New Year's resolution, I want to win the national championship this year, and then let's come back next year and win it again.
Back to back.
Back-to-back.
Boy, would I just love one. Back-to-back, big New Year's resolution, but you never know. That's what dreams are made of. Thanks, Ron.
In the first ECAC game, Kentucky held a 10-point lead at the half.
Oh, the lob to Antoine Walker.
Then simply wore down an overmatched Rider team in the final 20 minutes. The title game against Iona followed the same storyline. The Cats were firing on all cylinders and ended up routing Iona by 27.
Back tip by Alan Edwards and stolen away. Back to Edwards for the jam. 8 times here in the second half. Kentucky just once. Delk firing and hitting.
Boy, he has been in a rhythm all night long.
In a sign of things to come, Tony Delk earned the MVP award by shooting a sizzling 68% under the big city lights. Pitino's Cats had reaped the rewards of extra time together and were now ready to attack SEC opponents with a ferocious intensity that, as it turned out, would lead to a level of success that had not been seen in nearly 40 years.
You can! Tell me who's in the house tonight! You can! Tell me who's in the house tonight! You can! Tell me who's in the house tonight! You can!
Come on, y'all. Let's go out there and play hard, yo. One more time, Ryan. Give it to us one more time.
What time is it? Game time!
1, 2, 3.
Every game this year as the season went on and we were beating teams by 30 and 40 points, we would come back and coach would say, you guys won, but that's not good enough because you're letting too much luck come into the game. And we worked so hard at that.
I've seen a lot of teams get knocked out. I told you earlier, you can't win 6 games taking shots like that. You can't do that. But that's what they had to do. The but part about that, if you let bad shots go in defensively, you could get knocked out of the tournament. Because at one point they were 6 for 8. You played excellent defense. 6 for 8. But you got to really jam the guy at that point. Everybody else has got to be off. While this guy is jamming, you know they're going to go by, so you're going to be here. Not going to be here. And you know that you got to get in his house, and your hands got to be out. Because all 8 shots, with the exception of one where we fell down, were bad. But that's what they had to do. On the break, when a team is tired, reversal shots, you get all the ones you want. Okay, so the good lesson for us to learn here, we played excellent defense just about the entire night. But sometimes a team can get in the zone and make bad shots. That was an excellent basketball game tonight, a lot better than you think. You take away the last 5 minutes of play where we tried to just turn it on, and what happens is you turn off. That was a great game from everybody. Played terrific defense. A couple of times we fell asleep. On curl cuts outside of that, it was great the whole night. All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Forward.
When the team traveled to Athens for a contest against Georgia, Pitino met up with former UK assistant Tubby Smith for the first time. The Georgia Coliseum had a new nickname in honor of Smith, and the tub was overflowing. with crazed Bulldog fans slobbering for an upset. Both teams broke out of the gate with a string of highlight plays.
Robinson in a hurry. Fake. Laid up and in. They love it as the Bulldogs blitz the Wildcats early. Lead cut to 5 and the crowd trying to get back in it. Pope lost it. Walker, though, finds Dillon for the monster jam. Oh, what a reverse.
A late Kentucky run quieted the crowd, and for a few moments it seemed maybe another blowout was in the works. But Georgia stayed in the game at the foul line and kept the halftime margin at 10. The Bulldogs made their run in the second half. A series of Kentucky miscues led to 9 straight Georgia points. And suddenly, the Dogs were within 1. Soon the score was deadlocked. The Tub was in a frenzy, and Pitino's Cats were faced with something they had not encountered in almost 2 months. A nail-biter late in the second half. No one knew how Kentucky would react. Like so many times before, Pitino looked to his bench for help, and this time, a new savior emerged. Sophomore Allen Edwards had been the forgotten man, but his 2 late baskets held the Bulldogs at bay.
Backdoor cut. Anderson hammered. No call. Edwards follow and 1. How about Edwards off the bench? 2 big baskets.
The Wildcats departed Athens with a 5-point win and some needed close game experience under their belts. Arkansas invaded Rupp Arena on Sunday, February 11th. The series had become the game of the year for fans of both programs.
Hey, we're going to kill these guys. I mean, we're going to kill them. We're going to rip their heart out. I'm planning on a barbecue today. Go Big Blue.
Kentucky had yet to defeat the Razorbacks in regular season SEC play, so the atmosphere was understandably electric. UK's starting 5 was in a first half funk, and the Cats were soon staring at a 10-point deficit, at home no less.
Come on! Go, Tony! Go, Pat!
As the minutes ticked away in the second half, Arkansas matched Kentucky blow for blow. But this UK team was making defensive intensity its trademark. And finally, the stubborn Razorbacks succumbed to fatigue.
Reed breaking ahead. Swatted away by Shepard. Shepard, a 7-foot high jumper in high school, just went to the ceiling on this one. Wilson still having a hard time getting it in. 5 held for the second time. No screens were set. Reed not coming to the ball off the screen. There's just nobody to pass to.
Anthony Epps' full-court feed to Derek Anderson put Kentucky up by 10 and sealed the deal.
Had to be perfect, and it was.
The final score was 88-73. Not at all indicative of how tough the game had been for Kentucky.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Kentucky steamrolled into the final regular season game, armed with a #1 national ranking and a 3-month winning streak. A perfect SEC record was on the line as Vanderbilt visited Rupp Arena. But more important, it was time to bid farewell to the senior class. And the 1996 trio was one of Kentucky's finest. Mark Pope, Walter McCarty, and Tony Delk gathered with their families at Center Court for the traditional ceremony. And 24,000 plus rose for a deafening ovation that gave the seniors the send-off they richly deserved.
Just to be here with the people of Kentucky has been so good to me. And to hear the words to that song, which being a kid from outside Kentucky, it didn't mean anything to me when I got here, and now that I'm leaving, it means everything to me. It was just a fantastic experience.
On past senior days, the overflow of pregame emotion had often carried into the early minutes of the first half. But not on this occasion. With 2.5 minutes gone, the score was 13-zip.
Another turnover. Quickly, Anderson. McCarty steals it away, and he's all alone.
360. Walter McCarty made it loud and clear that it was a night for full circle celebration.
Jan Van Bredekamp, 32-point lead. Pax Whitehead has it tipped away and stolen by Walker. This crowd here in Rupp has really come to life. They're on their feet. And Antoine Walker gets this last. What a great...
And when the final horn sounded, the Wildcats' regular season mastery was complete with a 101-63 thumping of the Commodores. Kentucky had gone a perfect 16-0 in the Southeastern Conference, a feat no team had accomplished in more than 40 years, and the Cats were also riding a 25-game winning streak. Now, all eyes look toward the postseason to see just how far this blue-blooded crusade would march.
We felt great. I don't think it really hit us, afterwards in the locker room when Coach talked to us, CM Newton talked to us about how no team has done it in 41 years. But it wasn't really a goal of ours to go undefeated. We didn't think we could do it, and Coach didn't think we could do it either. And we just wanted to go out there and just play hard each and every night and just have fun. And things just turned out that by the time we went maybe 8-0, that's when we really started concentrating on really, putting that goal in mind and see if we can stay undefeated.
Guys, I thought I'd let Coach Newton say a few words because he just reiterated something to me that I wholeheartedly feel about this season and how difficult it is. And I thought I'd let him address it because I don't think you realize Coach Newton is coaching this conference at two different schools, both Vanderbilt and Alabama. And he'll tell you how difficult it is to do what you've done this year.
I just told Coach that I've been around basketball a lot of years. The most impressive thing about this basketball team this year, aside from your unselfishness, which is key, but has been your ability to prepare night after night. It's remarkable to me that you have been as ready to play, whether it's at home or on the road or whatever, just on a continuous basis. And that is a real tribute to your coaches for getting their stuff together to get to you, but it's also that they can't be playing. And I just wanted I told Coach it's a remarkable accomplishment. And I've seen a lot of good teams in this league, back with the Barkley days when he was at Auburn, and Kentucky's teams, and some of the great teams we had, but I've never seen a team play night after night the way you guys have played. And now you're into a bunch of 6 games. You're going to be in that 6-game season later on, but I just wanted to congratulate all the coaches and players.
Have a good night out. Have some good, clean fun. Make sure you enjoy yourself.
2 more.
Congratulations, guys. Here we go. We got 9 more, right? 1, 2, 3.
New Orleans was the site for the 1996 SEC tournament, and thousands of freewheeling Cat fans descended on the Crescent City in hopes of celebrating a 5th straight tournament title. All went according to plan at first. In the Friday contest against Florida, the Cats were sluggish in defending the three-pointer, but used their awesome depth to win, going away 100-76. Saturday's matchup against Arkansas brought the Louisiana Superdome to life. On the court, it was no contest, as a magical Antoine Walker led Kentucky to a 20-point win.
Mercer, back over to Walker, running the middle on a 3-on-2, no-look pass, goes down to Turner, who laid it in. Back the other way with 1:08 to go. He goes down to Williams, who went up, blocked by McCarty, goes an outlet pass to Edwards. Edwards going down in front of Towns and dunks it.
In January, UK had traveled to Mississippi State and whipped the Bulldogs. The much-improved Bulldogs were hungry for a rematch, and they got their wish in Sunday's tournament finale. State guard Darrell Wilson drew first blood with a three-pointer, an indication of things to come. Kentucky stayed with the Bulldogs for a while, but the relentless attitude that had been in place all year was absent.
Johnson guarding, the throw to Anderson. It's loose on the court. State's going to get it. Dante Jones runs. Turner cuts him off. Spins, turns, goes in. Great move and lays it in.
UK tried desperately to fight back, but few of their shots would fall, and Mississippi State remained unconscious until the final buzzer.
Left side Hughes throws it up. It's good. He kissed it off the glass. That's what kind of a day it has been.
The 11-point defeat sent shockwaves across the college basketball map and left glum UK fans singing the Bayou Blues. But the team wasn't worried.
I felt they played great. They were the better team that night, and certainly I thought it helped us get back to our fundamentals, which is to play great defense at every phase of the game, and it taught us that defense wins, and then we got to get that eye of the tiger back at the defensive end.
We knew we did wrong. I think, pressing 3 days in a row, it really will. I don't care how deep your bench is, you're really gonna, it's gonna affect you as far as mentally and physically. You really wanted to win, but you also didn't do the things that got you there, which is suck it up, So, I mean, you had to look at that as a positive and a negative, but as far as anything else goes, the Mississippi State loss, like the UMass loss, it helped us.
Kentucky began NCAA play as the #1 seed in the Midwest. The Cats' first-round opponent in Dallas was a San Jose team with a losing record, and few predicted a close game. The Spartans had different ideas, however, and their inspired efforts kept the score competitive for a half. The Cats regained composure after intermission and quickly administered a decisive knockout punch.
Pass down court to the up, saves, goes into Mercer for a dunk. What a play!
Kentucky came out of its mini slump in the second round. The Wildcats quickly pounced on a strong but shallow Virginia Tech team and kept the pressure on until they had a 24-point victory. The second half saw Kentucky put on a dunking display of stratospheric proportions. The rejuvenated Wildcats were Sweet 16 bound and left all nagging doubts behind in Dallas as they set their sights on Minneapolis, site of the Midwest Regional Finals. It's especially true at tournament time, but whenever the Wildcats hit the road, getting the team ready to play is a major production.
A lot of people think the ball's thrown up by the referees and you get ready to play. I don't think people could fathom how much goes into the preparation of a basketball game or practice. It takes about 18 man-hours to get ready for your film work. It takes about 10 hours to put together a scouting report. And the people behind the scenes, the assistant coaches, the video people, the traveling people that coordinate all of this, put in countless hours to make this formulate into a winning cause. And we owe so much to them because truly it's a team. It starts with the president on CM Newton to the managers of our basketball team. And if you're not all on the same page, if everybody's not working together, you can't have a championship.
When the Cats squared off against Utah in the Minneapolis Metrodome, many predicted that UK would have to utilize its superior team speed to offset Keith Van Horn and his teammates' poise and physical floor game. Utah chose to employ the same defensive strategy that led to UK's downfall against North Carolina the year before. They clogged the lanes and dared the Cats to connect from the outside. And Anthony Epps made the Utes pay for their game plan.
He spots for another three. It's good. He's got 3 of those.
It was a lead the Wildcats would never relinquish. They ended up blitzing Utah by 31, 101-70. Kentucky was now headed to its 4th Elite Eight appearance in 5 years. Now, just 1 game shy of the Final Four, an excellent Wake Forest team lay in wait for Kentucky at the Midwest Final on March 23rd. The coaching staff knew full well that the Demon Deacons provided plenty of problems for Kentucky, and most of them centered around their All-American pivot man, Tim Duncan. The first half was a masterpiece of defensive intensity for Kentucky. Wake Forest was held to just 4 field goals for the entire 20 minutes. Duncan was constantly blanketed on the baseline by 2 or 3 Wildcat defenders and could only manage a single point by halftime. Wake's outside shooters were scarcely more effective. The Deacons' attack was thoroughly dismantled, and all signs pointed to yet another relaxed second half for the Cats. But Wake simply wouldn't go away. It was time for a go-to guy to step up, and Tony Delk didn't hesitate. With Delk at the helm, the Cats stretched the lead back to 20, where it stood at the final horn. For his work, Delk was named the regional MVP. One dream had been fulfilled. Kentucky was going back to the Final Four, and in the process, UK again moved ahead of North Carolina as the winningest collegiate basketball program of all time. The post-game celebration was a joyous one, but UK knew there was some unfinished business.
Yeah! It ain't over! It ain't over!
What's that say? I can't really tell. He said it's Final Four. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Right here, fellas. Everybody up. You played this year. You probably don't realize it, but that was the best 25 minutes you played. They're good enough to have their run. Obviously, they're the ACC champions. And then at the end, you made all the big plays. Really proud of the effort. 2 more to go, and we win the whole thing.
The Wildcats arrived at the Meadowlands on Thursday and immediately set their sights on the Saturday semifinal matchup with UMass. These Cats had no time for distractions. They knew from past experience that the contest with the Minutemen would be the toughest of the season.
For all you Kentucky fans, it's a great day to be a Wildcat.
It would be the game of the year, the ultimate showdown between #1 and #2. All of America waited.
Straight away, they go to McCarty. Inside the paint, puts it up good. Goes out on top to Epps. Open for the 3 straight away. Count it. He turns, wheels the pass out to Padilla. Padilla splitting the Kentucky defense. Stolen away by Mercer. Down to McCarty. Goes inside on a slam dunk to give the Cats a lead.
Kentucky set a different tone for the rematch.
Walker down low to Pope. Goes under for the alley-oop, and he got it. Martin Pope on the alley-oop, but a great pass to Walker. Kentucky's 8th assist. And Edwards has just forced Padilla into stepping on the out-of-bounds line. Make it now 7 turnovers for UMass.
And it became obvious that the Cats' defense against Marcus Camby had improved.
Outside Treviso. Down low to Camby. Knocked away by Pope. Picked up by Epps. Epps dropped it. Picked it up. Goes down low to Delk. Delk goes under off the glass. Good. And he's fouled by Bright.
UMass emerged from the locker room, still shell-shocked by the Wildcats' run late in the first half. Before the Minutemen could recover, Kentucky's lead was 15. Tony Delk posted up down low and sent UMass guard Carmelo Treviso to the bench with 4 fouls. Instead of folding, UMass stormed back.
Vince Turns goes in, gives it to Camby, goes up good, and he's fouled. Massachusetts is playing themselves right back into this game.
Time and time again, Marcus Camby led his Minutemen within close range of the lead. But time and time again, a different Wildcat responded.
McCarty, a long ranger, dunks it. They throw it down low to Walker, gets loose, goes under and dunks the ball.
Freshman Ron Mercer came off the bench to spark the Cats.
Goes in the paint, goes all the way, puts it up good. He just blew by Weeks to put it in.
But Camby and the Minutemen quickly stemmed the tide.
59-51, Kentucky by 8. Down low to Camby, turnaround jumper over Pope, good, and he's fouled. Camby is now going to work. That's why he's player of the year. He has 17 points, 59-53.
Tony Delk left the game with leg cramps, and the Wildcat lead was teetering.
When they cut it, I believe, to 2 and 4 at certain intervals, I called timeout and I said, look, they're a great basketball team. They're making their run. Relax. This is what we've waited for. This is what we practice, close game situations every day of every practice. Let's execute, let's go out there, and here's what we're going to run.
3:20 to go, 66-60. Gets 2 possessions. Right side, Dingle. Dingle over the right side of Adia. Down low to Campbell. They double down on the big man, lost the ball. Walker took it away from him. Walker throws down to Shepard. Here he goes. Padilla, Trebesio can answer. He beats Trebesio and dunks it. Padilla front court. Padilla pulls up for 3. It's no good. In and out. The rebound by Anderson over the He gives the ball over to Epps. Epps looking, going a long way down court. He's got Walker wide open. Goes under, dunks it. That may be enough.
In the end, it was Kentucky which emerged victorious in the true-to-form game of the year, 81-74. UK had gained revenge on a gallant UMass team. But this team had one more step yet to take.
Guys, let me just tell you something. You're a great basketball team you beat. You gave us a tremendous lift tonight. Great job. Okay, tremendous lift. We're in a little bit of a drought. And you attacked at the right times, okay? But the good thing about this is you learn something about not panicking on offense and keep attacking. Like, sure, we turned it over there and we turned it over to travel, but the flip side of that, you scored 8 unanswered points by attacking. And the way they were hot, most teams go down if you take your eyes off the basket. You never did. You played a big game defensively, you held them in the 30th percentile, you shut down Travieso, and we got them in foul trouble. Really proud. The thing you have to understand, the war starts now. The war starts. You can't have this type of season and let Syracuse beat you. Well, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. Can't let anybody beat you right now. We're taking this home tonight.
I was very concerned. I was hoping that Mississippi State would beat Syracuse because after losing to them, being an SEC opponent, I thought that we would be able to overcome our fatigue, both mentally and physically. When Syracuse beat them, no question about that next day in practice, and we had a tough one, that we were just not physically and mentally there. And I told the team, you have a right not to be there because you had quite a tough ball game. But are you going to let it all go for naught by not showing up and giving that same incredible effort that you've given all year against Syracuse? And we had to muster up everything we could to overcome our fatigue after coming away from that Ali Frazier type fight.
From the Meadowlands at East Rutherford, New Jersey. Hi, everybody. This is Ralph Packer with Kyle Macy. In just a few minutes, the Kentucky Wildcats will meet Syracuse in the championship game of the 1996 men's NCAA basketball tournament. Saturday night, just before Kentucky beat #1 ranked UMass, the Orangemen, swept by favorite Mississippi State, advanced to the championship round for the second time. For the Cats, this is their 8th championship appearance. They have a 5-2 mark in such games. It's Kentucky and Syracuse in the 57th championship game of the men's NCAA basketball tournament.
Syracuse presented yet another All-American frontliner, John Wallace.
Goes under, misses and got his rebound. Puts back up and in. John Wallace puts Syracuse out on top 2-0 on a follow-up.
The game started slowly, and it soon became apparent that the Wildcats had blurry shooting eyes. The Cats were attacking the Syracuse zone with patience, but their inside opportunities weren't resulting in baskets. On defense, UK was forcing turnovers.
An offensive foul.
Syracuse couldn't capitalize on the Cats' cold shooting.
Bergen goes under and a charging foul. Wave off the basket.
Tony Delk finally broke free from downtown.
Over to Delk for a 3. Good. Tony Delk bags it. And the Wildcats have their first lead in the championship game.
Patino stressed patience against the zone and continued execution on the defensive end.
The ball now in the middle of Pope. Deals it along the baseline to Walker. Got it. Syracuse front court losing the ball. Turnover for the Orangemen. Delk with it. Over to Anderson. Back over to Delk. Goes under. Deals it back to Anderson. Shots up. Good. And he's fouled. Great ball move up for the Wildcats.
Wallace kept the game close for Syracuse, but freshman Ron Mercer followed up his UMass heroics with an even more impressive performance off the bench.
I told Ron Mercer right before the tournament, you'll have a big hand in whether we win a championship or not. And we talked the other day for the first time. He said, Coach, how'd you know that? I said, I didn't know, Ron. I was just trying to build your confidence and hoping that if the moment was there, you would grasp it, and you certainly did.
John Wallace stepped up his play in the second half and helped cut a 9-point halftime lead to 2 in 5 minutes. Once again, Ron Mercer came to the rescue.
Tacoma gets it Mercer steals. Gives it to Epps. Epps comes back the other way for Kentucky. Passes up a back slap. Gives to Mercer for 3. He's got 20. Ron Mercer, the freshman, gets 20 points. Epps moves in the paint. Kicks it over to Delp. Shoots it from the corner. It's good. He's fouled. And Anthony Epps with a great assist. Kicking it down to Tony Delp, who has now tied the NCAA championship game for threes when he hit that one.
Delp's 4-point play sent the lead to 13. With each possession, the dream came a little closer.
Walter McCarty has the rebound. They're forcing him out of bounds. He throws to Pope. Open for 5. It's good. Sims moved in. Throws the ball down. Stolen by Pope. Bounces it out to Anderson. He is tackled and fouled by Wallace. That'll be 5, and a big All-American goes to the bench. Mark Pope playing his last game at a Kentucky Unifor. The transfer from out in Washington. Wanted to come where he'd have a chance to play on a championship team. And here he is, a minute and 6 seconds away from it. Had a chance to put Kentucky out on top by 7.
I felt more comfortable shooting those free throws in the Final Four than I have all year. And maybe it's because that's the situation I've lived in so often in my mind. In fact, you know, in the championship game, I went to the line with a minute left, I think. And that's the thought that went through my mind. It's like, this is so great. This is actually coming true. I get to step to the line right now and hit these 2 free throws. And talk about a reward for all those days that I would sit out there with a manager and say, okay, this is it. And to actually live that experience that you'd imagined so much, it was, to me, it was more fun than nerve-wracking or anything like that. I was just excited to be able to have that experience.
And in the end, Kentucky came up untouchable. The final score was 76-67. Kentucky had won the national championship, the 6th in school history.
Edwards, who had a sacrifice and could be a star in any basketball team, didn't leave, stuck with you, stuck with the team, now he's a national champion. Antoine Walker, who went from young, spry young man to a real man and stirred this strength this year big time, Antoine. I'm really proud of you. The 3 seniors and every member of this basketball team are incredible. You have no idea what you did tonight. It's not only a championship. 90% of the teams that had to play Massachusetts that hard would come up empty. There's nothing you can do about it. All the speeches I can give, all the gumption, there's very little left when you battle like that. It's like a heavyweight fight that goes 15 rounds and you got to fight 2 days later. But he did it because of unbelievable character. And I can't tell you how proud I am of the seniors. If you don't graduate, I will badmouth you to every pro scout and nobody will draft you. So graduating national champion. I was thinking of a nickname, but I knew you'd win it. And professionals doesn't capture it. And I thought about it because of the 2 lessons you learned. I learned a valuable lesson from Massachusetts, who to play and what type of chemistry to put forth in the court. That loss. Then at Mississippi State, you learned all about, no matter what happens, defense has got to be the thing. And when you go undefeated for the first time in 41 years and take all the pressure from everything around you and still win the championship, you got to be nicknamed the Untouchables. Because nobody could touch it.
Every time you think about it, you're just like, wow, you know, when they say national championship, I'm one of them. You know, they're talking about me no matter who it is. They're talking about me, and it feels so good that just like you want to shed emotional tears, and it's like, you know, it's just unbelievable. From Tony Delk to Cameron Mills, every single guy made a huge contribution, and every single guy was more interested in what their teammates were doing and what the team was doing than what they themselves were doing. And especially today in our society, that's so rare.
You know, a lot of people who go on with their careers can never say they won an NCAA championship. You know, I can say that I have if I don't do anything for the rest of my life. So I mean, I'm real proud of that. It took a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication.
And what a phenomenal experience to get off the plane and see all the people there, you know, it's nothing new for us. Here in Kentucky, we have the greatest fans in the world, and you know, I don't really think anybody can question that. Then, you know, we're driving back, and people are all standing out on their cars waving. Drive by the cemetery over there, and the guy working in the cemetery is jumping up and down, waving his arms. And then to drive in Rupp and see that all the people we've seen so far were less than 24,000 that were waiting for us in Rupp. It was just extraordinary.
You gotta be kidding.
I felt, for me, the most moving experience in my life from a basketball standpoint was the celebration at Rupp. I felt it was simplistic, but so well done. When the noise level, if we could ever get 10% of that noise level for our games, I don't think anybody, we'd truly be untouchable. When they played, and when we raised the band and they played the song, I don't know the song, I guess it's We Are the Champions, I did everything I could to just hold it in, because that was such a touching moment for all of us, looking up and realizing that all that hard work was for a reason, and that was for an entire state to be proud of their basketball team.
At long last, it was time to celebrate.
Well, this team is going to go down probably in history as one of the greatest teams of all time, just because of their margin of victory, just because of under the influence of pressure being #1 in the beginning and ending #1, they fought off all pressure, took on all comers, played a very difficult schedule, and was there at the end, and that's something special.
No joking around in here. You can tell there's no Wildcat fans in this room. Hey, fella. There's a smile. Hey, let me get some Wildcat footage here.
I can't even explain it.
Can't explain it?
I can't explain it.
Repeat already. What'd you say? Repeat? Hey, they're gonna love that. How do you feel, Coach O'Brien? Never felt any better. Coach O'Brien! 7-year plan! That's what I'm saying!
Mark, you have no idea where we were 7 years ago, man.
Woo! I see you, Coach P!
Where's Walt?
He's celebrating, Coach. Can't blame him.
Oh!
Great day to build Wildcat for all you Lexington fans.
The 96 champs.